For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Come on! Wait up!
Is everyone ready to play?
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved, so fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in high levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you'll surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide, Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA, always Adelaide.
back here to the REA HPG home, State League 1 football here for some round 4 action here at Martin Sports Complex on a Monday night. I'm joined by David Grunt here in the commentary studio for this kickoff here back at Martin. How are you, David, and welcome back?
I'm good, thanks, Alessio. How are you? Need to get our timing a bit improved, don't we? Yes, no, looking forward to this one. A home side here that is languishing near the foot of the table and looking for a win to get out of that those 2 relegation spots at the bottom of the HPG State League 1, HPG Homes State League 1, facing a Modbury Jets side who, if they get a win tonight, will move up to second on that ladder. So a lot to play for both, and both at either end of the table.
Yeah, of course. A lot watching tonight as well. Adelaide Blue Eagles have had a slow start to their season, David. Of course, a banded game a couple of weeks ago, and then a game finishing the 85th minute here a couple of weeks before that. Also slow starts results-wise as well. Haven't picked up 3 points yet this season. Of course, lost last week out against Salisbury. Drew 1-0 here at Cove, and then, of course, lost in the Cup as well. So they're definitely looking to pick up some points. 3 points at home is one I'm sure they're looking after. For the away side, Modbury Jets, of course, they had a trouncing win last week, 5-0 over the Cove. Prior to that, a 1-0 draw with Fulham and a 3-1 win versus Raiders. And then obviously they won their cup game 6-2 against Elizabeth Grove. So they've had a great start to the season. Life back in State League 1, of course, after they were relegated from the REA NPLSA in 2025 after a long stint in that league as well. And of course, they are probably one of the leading candidates to go straight back up this year and fight for that title. So we'll go through the lineups of both sides, David. They walked out and stood out there as well. A couple of changes as well. So we'll go through the away side in Modbury Jets first, starting in goals. Number 1, Jamie Signorello. Number 2, Paul Wilson. Number 5, Timothy Henderson. Number 6, Taiju Akimoto. Number 7, Liam McCabe. Number 8, Callum Campbell. Number 10, Min Suk Choi. Number 11, Christian Tassori. Number 13, Caleb Evans. Number 17, Lachlan Wilson. And number 24, Fred Sunday. For the home side, Adelaide Blue Eagles, 3 players come into the starting lineup this week, while 3 are on the bench. Number 1, Benjamin Jackson. Number 3, Matthew Jones. Number 5, Will Smithson Thomas. Number 7, Hyunwoo Shin. Number 8, Omari Dodero. Number 9, Dante Cacciavalani. Number 10, Christian Dargenio. Number 12, Christian Migliaccio. Number 13, Cooper Mullins. Number 14, Aristomenios Paralampopoulos. And number 19, Carl Phelps. So we've got underway here, David. Of course, 2 teams sporting different looks of blue. Not too much of a kit clash, David, but it's good viewing from those back home as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adelaide Blue Eagles, here's Jets coming through. Clearance there. Great to see Adelaide Blue Eagles playing in their traditional blue, white and blue. You know, an Italian heritage club, and playing in those colours. It's quite a famous strip here in South Australia. Modbury Jets playing in their away kit, which is teal and battleship grey by the looks of it. But traditionally, Jets will be playing in blue as well. The darker blue that would clash here with Blue Eagles if they were to wear it.
At the first corner of the game, as you did mention, Liam McCabe over the top of this one. We'll get to the lineup changes later, but we'll watch this set piece come in first. McCabe to the far post. Paul Wilson's there, puts it across the box and off the line there by Smithson Thomas. A great early set piece there, David. Almost found its way to the back of the net.
Yeah, solid defending. I mean, we're only, 2 minutes in, and already a chance opening up for Jets at the back post. Ball flashing back across the face and just over the top, but Jets showing the mean business early on.
Take 2 for Liam McCabe, of course, former Adelaide Blue Eagles player with his brother Hamish a couple of seasons ago in 2021 and prior to that. We'll let him take this corner to the goalkeeper, still bobbling around and cleared now. Calls for handball. Referee seems unmoved. Of course, our good friend in the middle of the park there, David. Jaden Betterman taking charge of this clash.
Yes, good to see him out there. He's building up his experience, isn't he? A young referee who's already done 2 NPL games. And here doing a State League 1 match, so good on him.
Here's Paralampopoulos, who's coming to the lineup this week. Eugenio now with Shin. Dodero, and Wilson. So we'll go through some of those changes now, David, that have come into the lineup this week. 3 for Adelaide Blue Eagles as Sebastian Matosevic makes his way to the bench, and Benjamin Jackson comes in for him. Elsewhere, Siwong Park also goes to the bench with Christian Migliaccio replacing him. And Harvey Steele comes out and is replaced by Haralan Popoulos.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the goalkeeper, Ben Jackson, has come in for Sebastian Matosevic. And Ben Jackson's already been tested on 2 occasions, so I don't know if he maybe looked a little bit nervous there with those 2 early chances that Jets had. But maybe needs to get himself, a save early on just to build his confidence up.
Of course, Modbury Jets as well. We did mention that it was McCabe's former club tonight, but Hamish McCabe is out completely of the squad tonight, David. After scoring a brace last week, he misses out tonight. I'm sure it's due to an injury. Saw him there in the warm-up sporting the sneakers, so it doesn't seem like he was ready to play any part tonight. So no news on that just yet, but that's one of the outs. Of course, elsewhere, that means that Akimoto starts in place of him, and a couple of other changes on the bench, but relatively similar from last week as well in the starting lineups. And of course, their other 2-goal player last week, Lachlan Wilson from right fullback, keeps his place on the right side of defence.
Yeah, 2 goals for Lachlan Wilson last week as they won 5-0 at home against the Cove, and Hamish McCabe getting 2 goals that week as well. So interesting enough that Hamish isn't playing against his former club tonight. He was there, as you mentioned, watching the warm-up, but taking no part. Liam took it in his absence, in Hamish's absence.
Foul in the middle of the park there on Dodero. Play will slow down here.
They are identical twins, so for all I know, it's the other way around. Watching them, Hamish or Liam, can never tell them apart, can you?
No, not really. Sometimes you can tell them apart by some of the footwork on the park. One's a bit more defensive than the other these days, but yeah, they're both very good leaders at the club, and I think Hamish and Liam are both part of the leadership group, and Liam has captained the side on multiple occasions, so it's definitely an ample replacement at the moment. See how they can deal with this set piece now. It's Jones who will take, launches long to that back post. Kachabalani will find his way on the end of this, and he'll only find it out for throw-in.
These leadership groups are an interesting thing. There was about 5 or 6 people in it. Back in my day, it was 1 captain and maybe a vice captain. But we get six captains out there. I don't know who takes there is one that's the leader though, right?
Yes, usually there is these days you see co-captains as well, David. So
that's right.
In America, I think some of the college teams play with a couple of them within armband because they're co-captains. But luckily in Australia, we're still here with the single armband on the player.
Sometimes around the leg, we've noticed as well.
Yeah, that is true. Migliaccio goes short, and that's a poor corner kick routine as he misses the target and plays it out for a goal kick. So Signorello will take it from the back. Of course, new signing from Modbury Jets this season, David, has previous NPL experience at a number of clubs as well. Made his debut back in the day against Campbelltown. And I'm fairly sure it was actually against Blue Eagles in one of those early round 1 fixtures between the 2 rivals in the past. Here's Sunday now, who's way down the right, and great challenge there by Smithson Thomas. Of course, has come in now for the injured Declan Gray over the last couple of weeks, David. He made the start last week at centre-back. Of course, that ball goes into Benjamin Jackson. Of course, Declan Gray out with a semi-severe injury. He's out for about 6 to 8 weeks with a popped kneecap. A couple of weeks ago, that was due to the abandoned game away at Adelaide Olympic, which will be played, I'm sure, some point later on this season, maybe midweek. But we wish him well, and we saw him in the warm-up sporting a brace. So, talking to some of their players a couple of weeks ago, they said it's probably the best-case scenario out of all knee injuries you can get. Now, Sunday is away. Tasotti plays him through, and he tries to square that ball across to Campbell, who is in the middle of the box. And Haralan Popoulos clears that all the way to Signorello. So, early start here, David. It's a very frenetic start as well. Last time I was out here against Cove, it was a very slow game and teams were happy to sit off the back four playing out from the back, but it really seems like it's a different point of attack today.
Yeah, no, both teams come out the blocks at 100 miles an hour. And just to go back to that injury, yeah, I mean, the thing I was going to add there was that obviously our thoughts are with him and hoping for a speedy recovery and all that sort of stuff, but he was lying in that park for quite some time, wasn't he? I mean, the ambulance did come on, but the footage was still rolling, but I think it was a good half an hour, 40 minutes before it got there, so it was a difficult night for him. But yeah, fast start here, and I sort of thought maybe we would expect that, both teams coming out the blocks at 100 miles an hour trying to find these early openings.
Here's Evans now. Got a delivery, far post. It's cleared that time, and now Shin will come away with it. Of course, we mentioned earlier as well, Caleb Evans made his breakthrough here at Adelaide Blue Eagles a couple of years ago in the NPL as well. Made the move over this season to Modbury Jets. Of course, also a former player of Modbury Vista, David, so he's made the jump between both teams in the north there and looks to be settled at home here at left fullback for his new club.
So he's done a Rangers and a Celtic. A lot on the line, as we mentioned before, though, isn't there, Alessio? I mean, you've got Blue Eagles, a team with a lot of history, a lot of tradition, a former top-tier club, and playing at a magnificent little ground like this, and languishing in second bottom. But here they come. Here come Jets.
Choi drives forward, looking for Sunday. He cuts onto his right foot, but he's shown too much of that to the defender there in Shin. And now Phelps will come away with it. Playing Haralampopoulos. And that ball goes out. As you said, two teams probably at different ends of the table and different starts to the season, as you would expect from two former top-flight teams. I mean, Modbury Jets undefeated so far in the State League 1 with 2 wins and a draw, while for Adelaide Blue Eagles, they've obviously started with 1 loss and 1 draw and languish in the bottom 2 of the State League 1. Of course, they've got games to make up later on in the season. But points on the board early is what you want as a team.
The Eagles just enjoying a little bit of possession just now, content to play it along the back.
Good touch there by Darginio, and now Dodero will look to switch. He's gone for the feet there of Cacciavellani, but he's missed him. So as we see both teams' formations start to progress out from the back, it looks like Modbury Jets operating a similar 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation as I saw them last week, with a diamond midfield and 2 up top, and it looks like Akimoto's come in directly for Hamish McCabe as the second striker to partner Sunday, as they now link up on this left side. Akimoto to Soddy, stripped of it by Phelps. And now the Eagles will come away with Shin and Haralampopoulos. Advantage played there in the middle of the park from Migliaccio's foul. Migliaccio's got space to look up and find an option, and almost found the feet there of Cacciavellani. Still alive. Haralampopoulos is cross. Will eventuate nothing but a throw-in.
Great visionary defending by the veteran Tim Henderson at the back there for Jets to thwart Blue Eagles as they came forward. That man is a wizard, isn't he?
He's deceptively quick as well. He's not the tallest of defenders, but his mind reading of the game and his speed have kept up with the level, and that's a interesting challenge, and I think the referee in Betterman is going to pull it back for that foul on Mullins, as he's in a bit of pain there on the near side here. It took a long time to make that decision, but possibly he was waiting for a bit of confirmation from his assistant.
I think that's indeed the case. I think he was waiting for the assistant to flag it. Nothing came, and so the referee has opted to give the free kick. I mean, it looked like a free kick. It was very fast, but it looked like a free kick from here, and the Eagles with a decent little chance here. I mean, it's not something where they would have a shot at goal, but a good chance here to cross it in and try and create something maybe at the back post, which is where everybody's lining up now.
Jones, who's job on most of the set pieces for Adelaide Blue Eagles this season, as I've seen so far. He's got a great left foot, David, and he's had a few shots on goal from set pieces in the last couple of weeks, but his delivery is also second to none, so expecting something to trouble the goalkeeper from here.
Just a little bit of a pause, a little bit of pushing and shoving in that back post between some groups of players, so the referee's just asking if they could refrain from that sort of activity.
Jones delivers near post, and I think the header is won by a Modbury Jets player, and now Darginio will play it back to him to launch another ball in. That's a nice one. Far post, goes over the head. Shin there is by himself on the far left. He delivers now far post. Kachavalani wins the header, and his header is directed into the arms there of the thankful Signorello, who was sure that ball was going to find its way to either side of him, but was fortunate enough to be right in front of him, David.
Well, we didn't think that Matthew Jones would have a shot from that angle with that free kick, but that's indeed what he did do, maybe looking for a deflection. It was a fine free kick in the end, but Jets have cleared the lines and the danger is now past. It was interesting because I think they did think Jones would probably float the ball to the back post, but he's just rifled it in there at head height, maybe trying to look for a deflection and trying to get something out of that, but decent little chance for Blue Eagles.
Of course, Modbury Jets had the fastest of starts last week, winning a penalty in the opening minute of their game at home against the Cove, converting with Hamish McCabe, so they're no stranger to starting games off on the front foot and having a lot of chances, but tonight at the moment they have to deal with a few more in their own defensive half instead. McCabe now to Akimoto. Flicked in behind there by Campbell to Soddy. Plays back to Campbell now. Here's Akimoto. Goes long. And Jackson will claim.
Good to see Callum Campbell out there enjoying his football after transferring from Croatia Raiders. Close season. Already making his mark in this match. He's a short player and he's a light player, but boy, he's quick, isn't he?
Looks like he's in his more favoured central midfield 10 position as well this season. He had to lead the line a couple of times last year for Croatia Raiders due to the absence of Anthony Costa, but here at Modbury Jets it looks like Morris Natali's got him in that 10 position at the front of the diamond.
And he looks like he's enjoying his football, you know. I mean, I haven't seen Jets play this year. This is my first time watching them, but he looks like he's enjoying the role. Putting himself about, spraying those passes and harassing his opponents when they've got the ball.
Of course, he scored on his Modbury Jets league debut in round one against Adelaide Croatia Raiders at home there at Smith Partner Stadium as well, so he's found the back of the net early and probably taken that hunch off his back against his old team as well is something you've got to be happy to do.
Depending on the terms of the departure from that team, isn't it?
It's always good to start early with a goal and not have to wait for it for so long and it starts becoming a thing, so it's nice that he's got it underway early, and there's a better way to do it than against your old team. Here's Mullins now. So, of course, starting the day without a win, David. 3 major changes to their lineup. Of course, a goalkeeper change, as we did mention, but also the ever-inspiring Siwon Park finds his name on the bench tonight, as well as
yeah, interestingly enough, I mean, Siwon Park started the game last week, drops to the bench this week, but it was a 2-1 loss for them last outing away at Salisbury United, and I guess they felt they needed to make a few changes, and there are casualties into the starting 11 as a result of that.
Of course, as well, Harvey's still out completely of tonight's lineup. I think I did see him lining up for the reserves just before us as well, so an interesting one. Don't see often starting first team player completely out of the squad and into the reserves the next week, but fortunately that sometimes happens with the results that pan out throughout the season. Another out as well for Modbury Jets. I saw him just earlier as well was Nicholas Graves, who made the signing late in the pre-season window from Campbelltown City. Fortunately, he's out with concussion after featuring off the bench last week and then having to come off due to concussion protocol. He's out for the week. Will feature back on Friday in their next fixture, but a couple of injuries both sides have had to deal with now, and it's tough to start your season with that, especially when you're desperate for some points and a win, David.
Absolutely, yeah. Difficult to get going under those circumstances.
Wilson with the interception there. Now it's Liam McCabe who can switch the play. Campbell looking for Sunday, but that ball is behind him. Mullins came away. Haralam Popoulos being urged to take his defender 1v1. Now puts the delivery in and it's deflected by Henderson.
Nearly 20 minutes gone in the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard. 0-0 here in this HPG Homes State League 1 tie. I am David Grant, he's Alessio Carocci. And we're enjoying some second-tier football.
It's always great. I know a lot of people watch these football games on a Monday night as well. Probably, I'm sure, a few in the State League 1 are eagerly watching what either of these teams can do this season after it's just got underway, the league season. About a month or so in. And late challenge there by Smithson Thomas. And he's going to pick up a booking here, David. That was a late challenge, and Sunday did get the touch away from him and was looking through on goal there. So an early decision there by Betterman. I think he's got it right.
I think so too, yeah. I mean, Smithson Thomas has had a very good first half on Sunday. Up to this point, he's made some really timely tackles, but he's quick, Fred Sunday, when he gets underway, isn't he? When he puts on those afterburners and races down that left-hand side. Exciting to watch, and maybe the booking is deserved.
Of course, early booking for a centre-back is something you don't want to see, especially when you're dealing with a couple of injuries out the back at the moment, David, but it's insightful to see such an attacking threat from the Modbury Jets on the counter there, and with the major outs they have up front, it's good to see they've got ample quality coming in. Henderson. Akimoto. Back to Wilson. He launches long for Tassotti this time. Good turn there by Tassotti. Bit of space in the top of the box. Looks long. Still Akimoto comes away with it and he puts the cross in. Again cleared by Dodero, but a deft flick there by Tassotti and a great chance for the Modbury Jets.
Yeah, that little flick pass by Christian Tassotti deserved more, didn't it? It was beautiful, wasn't it? A little reverse pass with the outside of his left boot to set the chance up. That would have been golden had it gone in, but or if something had come from it. Nothing did, and it's still 0-0, but great little opportunity there by Jets as they stream forward.
Had the skill to get the touch away from the defender in the first opportunity, and then the vision to find the pass there to Akimoto, and he tried to have the strike, was deflected. Chance finished after that cross was cleared, but again, good to see another youngster coming through as well, Christian Tassotti. Played a bit in the reserves last season for Modbury Jets as well. Now gets his chance on the start. A couple of times of asking this season, and he's looking like he's got his chance in this new formation for the Modbury Jets. Ball flicked on to Migliaccio. Henderson will clear.
Just a little bit of afters there between Henderson and Cacciavillani, just off the ball. Both on each other tonight, of course. Henderson marking Cacciavillani, and the referee had to just come through and simmer things down a little bit, but keep your eye on those two.
There's another two to keep their eye on, Smithson Thomas and Fred Sunday. Isolated on this left side, Sunday looks for the pass and easily cut out there that time by Jones, and threw a few step overs there, but Adelaide Blue Eagles were calm in their defence.
It was easily cut out, but it had to be easily cut out, or had to be cut out, because that That was a pass clean through to the back there, to the back post. And had it reached its target, there was a decent chance there for Jets.
Here's Shin now on the far left, looking to start another attack for the Adelaide Blue Eagles. Phelps. He's got no option long, and now he finds it. Paralampopoulos. Migliaccio. Shin. Darginio with a spare man on the left. He finds him. Didero's there in the box. Didero on his right now. Oh, the post off the goalkeeper, and it's still alive and now cleared by Evans. Paralampopoulos, time to deliver. Now is claimed by Jamie Signorello, but what a chance there for the Blue Eagles, David.
Absolutely, Murray Didero. I thought the chance maybe had gone. He sort of looked like he'd taken a heavy touch with his second movement as he put the ball onto his right, struck it well enough and off that post and then off the back of the goalkeeper's head. Could have gone anywhere when that happens, but Blue Eagles there with a real chance, a real good chance to open the scoring.
To be honest, I'm glad it doesn't go in, because it would have been down as an own goal for Signorello, and that is the most tough of circumstances if that goes down as your name. I mean,
I don't agree with that. I'll say it right now, Elisha, I do not agree with that.
But unfortunately, if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have gone in. So
that's it. Absolutely. I mean, he's had the shot on goal. If it deflects off a keeper on its way in, then so be it. But, it wouldn't have hit the goalkeeper had it not been a shot in the first place.
But I don't think it would have gone in if it didn't touch the keeper afterwards.
That's true. Well, that's true, because it hit the post and came back out. Well, I guess there's two ways to look at it, isn't it? But it would have been a bit harsh. I mean, I think that shot would have deserved the credit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well,
look back at that when you're a granddad and say, I nearly scored that goal.
We've seen some great goals here at Martin Sports Complex. Almost witness to another one there. But it's good to see the shots are arriving early in this first half. Evans waiting for an option to open up here. Sunday. Evans always taken out after the fact that he lost the ball there. I think it's Phelps who is the man in trouble here, and they're all surrounding the referee as well, David, so they're very much not so happy with some of the treatment on their players at the moment, the Modbury Jets.
There is a new ruling, of course, this year that crowding the referee is not permitted, but it's ungentlemanly and unbecoming as well, if you ask me. But look, I think Jets probably asking for a card there. Maybe rightly so, but nothing given.
Definitely a foul, but I do think he lost control of the ball before he was fouled, so it's a tough one to be a bookable offence, in my opinion. But we're going to get the free kick in any case. Liam McCabe will take charge of this. Looking to deliver to that far pack, the edge of the box. Here is McCabe. Goes near post and is cleared by Cacciavolani.
Superb defending by the forward.
Again, defended once. That time he didn't find the contact. Wilson passes loose, and Henderson with a big challenge in the middle of the park. Didero, as he spotted a free man, I think he's going to be adjudged offside, and I think that's the correct call, David.
Yeah, we're in line with it, and I would agree with that. I'd say that's...
It's happened again here at Martin Sports Complex. We're in the dark, and it's not even 10 p.m. this time, David.
Well, interestingly enough, before we started the broadcast today, I was talking to someone at Blue Eagles, and they said that they reckon their sprinklers and the lighting system is on some kind of automatic system that they don't have control over. And they said, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they went out tonight. But, I mean, having had that happen the other fortnight, you would think it would be something that was looked into.
Yeah. I had a bit of chats over the local media here over the last couple of days as well about making decisions on this and making sure your system is in place before you get a fixture like this. They knew this fixture was coming weeks in advance. They had ample opportunities as well to notify the council if they're the authorities to determine this lighting, and it's now gone out earlier than what was expected with 10 p.m. restrictions, and we've got another delay here, which is seeking an explanation.
So you and I are going to have to fill in time now, aren't we, Alessio? How do we do that? We're professionals, aren't we? We can find a way, can't we? Did I tell you I watched the World Cup game here?
Yes, you did.
22 years ago at this very pitch. I watched Australia play Fiji in a World Cup qualifier for the 2006 World Cup. Playing that day was the likes of, Tim Cahill, who had just come off playing for Millwall in the 2004 FA Cup final against Manchester United. He played in that game on the Saturday, and I think the game was on a Wednesday. Funnily enough, I think it was a Wednesday afternoon. I don't even think it was a night game. And Marco Bresciani was playing. Stan Lazaridis was in that squad. And the coach was that guy from the Brisbane Strikers. What's his name again?
Strikers.
Yeah. Oh, Frank Farina.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Ex-Socceroos coach as well.
Yeah. So he was coaching the Socceroos at that point in time. So, yeah. Interestingly enough, that's 22 years ago, and I think the crowd that night was 450. And then, of course, they qualified for that 2006 World Cup, and the rest is history. Sometimes you can't even get a ticket to see them these days, and they're playing in much bigger stadiums than Marden. With all due respect to Marden, lovely little ground.
I'll be seeing them in their first World Cup game in Canada as well, David, in June as well. They're playing against a team that hasn't qualified just yet from the European qualifiers that will happen I think it's in March or April they eventuate. But
we're into March now. I think you're right. I think it's maybe the end of this month. It might only be 2 weeks away, so those European qualifiers are all wound up. But yeah, I mean, I think is it not Romania and
I think it's Kosovo maybe, a couple of those teams. Yeah, so that'll be their first game. And I'm excited to do it, to go watch it as well in Vancouver.
So how long are you away for?
About 20 days. 20 days during the week, and we'll be seeing 3 games, so it'll be good little adventure there, and get to tick off the bucket list item and see my country at a World Cup.
Yeah, well, I've never done that. Mind you, it's 30 years since my country's qualified for a World Cup, so I probably wouldn't have been able to afford it back in those days. I was a student, scrounging for money, so I've never been to an away game.
Give this break as well. You might go through, for those watching at home, the rest of the State League 1 results and fixtures, and maybe some of the other ones around the leagues as well, of course. But this one is probably the most pertinent to the players watching and teams watching this as well. So it all started off on Friday night. A couple of strong victories there. Adelaide Croatia Raiders 5-0 win over Adelaide Atletico. It was followed up by Adelaide Cobras, the team top of this State League 1, with a 4-2 win over Eastern United away. On Saturday, Cumberland United exercised their attacking threat with a 5-0 win over South Adelaide. Fulham United, 2-1 win over Salisbury United. And the Cove FC winning 3-2 over Adelaide Olympic. So at the moment, the table reads Adelaide Cobras top with 12 points, Adelaide Croatia Raiders in second, and Modbury Jets in third with 7 points, awaiting the results of this game. But some interesting results there around the league, David, as well, talking about this being our second tier locally. Some massive results and massive scorelines as well, really putting apart some of the teams in this division.
Yeah, and it's interesting as we look down that table, as you mentioned, that top 3. I mean, Cobras, I think we thought Cobras would do quite well this year, but I mean, I think after 4 rounds, none of us were expecting them to be top, we'll be honest. But there they sit. They've played 4, won 4, and they have a goal difference of 9. So they're not only top by 3 points from Croatia Raiders, but they have that goal difference that gives them almost an extra point. The Raiders have +8, so I mean there's not that much difference between the two. But once you get +9 in your goal difference, that goes a long way to being almost like an extra point, doesn't it? Raiders, as we mentioned before, sitting in second. They have had that 1 loss, 3 wins, so they're on 9 points. And Jets, if they can win this one today or tonight, if the lights come back on, they can go from 7 points up to 10 points, which would take them into second spot. That would consolidate your top 3. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Cove, who are sitting in fourth. 2 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. And as we look down towards the nether regions, Blue Eagles, of course, I mean, I think at the start of the year, I in our pre-season chat, we were talking about how you actually mentioned that you didn't think they would probably do as well as I thought they would do, and I was basing that on some kind of idea of tradition and the fact that, you know, that they are a good side on paper. You know, that they're a decent enough side on paper. Your point was who's coming in. I think that was what you mentioned at the time, and it's a very valid point. And there they are, second bottom of the table with only South Adelaide beneath them.
Elsewhere around the league, though, it's good to see some of our newly promoted sides doing well as well. They've all picked up a victory. Eastern United as well. Adelaide Atletico picked up 2 as well, so they're really punching above the expectations of some in this league as well, and they've got a very young side to do so as well. But I think those, front top 6 at the moment, a couple of them are as expected, and maybe a couple near the bottom, and Salisbury United and Fulham United are probably not where most teams would expect, and they've had fairly slow starts.
I think Salisbury United sitting 8th and Fulham United sitting 9th are 2 teams you would probably expect to be in the 6 eventually. We are very early on. We've only played 4 games. These 2 teams have only played 3.5, but the rest of them have only played 4 games. So at this stage, it's very early to make predictions. But you're right. I mean, 4 games in is when it starts to sort of take a bit of a shape that the rest of the season might look a bit more familiar. If you have just joined us, we played about 25 minutes of this HPG Homes State League 1 game between Adelaide Blue Eagles and Modbury Jets, and players and the referee and his assistants are all still out there enjoying the Adelaide evening. But in darkness, unfortunately, the floodlights have failed us. But power must be back on, because the scoreboard had gone off initially. And it's back on.
That is good news. I mean, we had power here when it happened a couple of weeks ago against the Cove, and I can't remember if the scoreboard was on or not, but I don't think the issue is the power being on in general, like a blackout. I think it's mainly a switch for the lights that is obviously automatically switched off, or something's happened with that specifically. So it's definitely not a blackout per se power-wise, but it's just, the individual components there of the floodlights. So we'll have to see how that goes.
So let's talk about your World Cup trip then again. So you're off to Canada. You're going to watch which games exactly again?
So it'll be Socceroos versus that qualifier, the first one, Vancouver.
Yep.
Then there'll be a second game, Egypt versus New Zealand, also in Vancouver. And then the third game, Panama versus Croatia in Toronto.
So that's all different groups. So let's get your picks then. Australia versus the European qualifier. We don't know who the European qualifier is, so it's hard to make a pick in that one, I suppose, isn't it?
I'd give Australia the win. I think we've had some good results. It might not be the prettiest football, but we've got some good players. And if everyone's fit and we see some of these South Australian players in the squad, I'd tip us to beat a lowly ranked European side.
New Zealand and Egypt, did you say?
Yeah, I think that would be a very interesting game, especially seeing some of those New Zealand players around the professional leagues as well. Chris Wood just coming back from an extended period off with a knee injury. I think he played his first game just on the weekend in the Premier League 2 for the under-21s, but he's been out for a long time. And then, of course, Ben Waine has been playing for Port Vale and starring in the FA Cup, so that's going to be an interesting one. Otherwise, the third game, Panama Croatia, I think is a very one-sided affair, and that one I think Croatia will do well and get the victory there. But looks like the players are now dispersing a little bit across the park. I'm not sure if they're looking to warm up again somewhere, but again, it's positive to see the referees still out there. I remember when I was here last time, the referees were fairly certain they just wanted to end the game with 5 minutes remaining in that fixture. It was fairly easy to just call it off and call full time, but here is a much more difficult decision to make. I don't know how long you can play in general if this game starts with a 20-minute added time in the first half or something, but I don't know how long into the night they can actually play. So if this needs to be rescheduled, then it'd have to be another Monday night probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the players need to warm up. It's still at 27 degrees here, but they will need to keep moving. When they get back underway, if they get back underway, they'll have that kind of initial 5 minutes where the muscles won't have seized up. It certainly will be in a state where they're maybe a bit more susceptible to injury. So the Modbury Jets are kicking the ball around in front of us in a fairly relaxed sort of manner. Blue Eagles not doing that at all. Just in various player groups on the other side. If you have just joined us, you're watching the HPG Homes State League 1 South Australia and it's a match between the home side, Adelaide Blue Eagles, and the visitors, Modbury Jets. nothing each on the scoreboard, and we've had a power failure. It's affected the lights only, floodlights only. So the scoreboard's okay, the canteen's okay, but the actual floodlights are down. So we're just waiting for something to come of this. We did have an incident just like this 2 weeks ago. Same sort of event, happened a bit later in the night. It was a 10 p.m. Time that happened, but a bit earlier this time around. It has just gone 5 to 9 here in Adelaide. And there's a light come on that far side, but that's not part of the floodlights, I don't think, is it?
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, some of the lights are coming back on.
If it's one at a time, this will take a while, but...
Is there a wee guy climbed up to the top of that pole and he's just turning a switch one by one?
Look like we're getting something. There's the second one, so I think it's one at a time, David, but it is beginning to light up here again, and we might have enough to finish this football game.
Well, continue the football game. I don't think at Marden, given the history they have here, there's a guarantee it'll be finished, but it looks like it will be. It looks like it will be continued, which is a relief. I'm not sure how much longer people would have been wanting to listen to the two of us blethering on about World Cup games here, World Cup games in Canada, the local scene. We've covered the State League One quite well. I think we did all right there, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did well, especially those watching back home that are interested to see how this league pans out as well and where it's at. Of course, it's the last fixture of the round 4 of the HPG Homes State League One, so I'm sure those waiting at home are interested to see how the rest of the leagues panned out before this game gets a result. But we look like we're almost all back on here, David. We're probably about 50% on all of the light poles, and the players look like they're going through their paces to warm up again, and not sure if he timed that, but maybe 10-15 minutes of added time in this first half, and that's of course added on to whatever the referee agrees to as well. I think we're almost ready. The team manager has just gone into the middle of the park to talk to the assistant referee and referee Jaden Betterman here, and looks like we are back. So looks like there was 19 minutes left of the first half, David, to be played. So that would be the 19 added.
Thankfully, we've got a support team that do all our running around for us. I'm hungry. I fancy a sausage. Do you think they'd maybe nip away and get something like that for us, or maybe a little drink or something, cup of tea or something, or do you just do times? Okay. No, we've got some people around helping us out there, so they've given us a little bit of guidance. 19 minutes is the duration of play period that we've still got to play.
Yes, so we'll play that on, and we just had a 15-minute delay there due to lighting. So
the clock in the corner says 41 just now. If we continue to play, we would have just the 5 minutes to go. That clock will take us up to 60 minutes, and that'll be.
So it is about 15 minutes on the dot that we just missed in that little period. So
yeah.
I guess I'd hope they come out quicker for the second half then, if they don't need much of a rest after they had one just there. But
well, we've watched a fairly open and entertaining first, however long it was, 30 minutes or so. It was entertaining that first period, so hopefully it picks up exactly where it left off, because that was enjoyable football we were watching. Fairly evenly balanced, I think. Both sides had their moments. Could say that Blue Eagles maybe a bit unlucky. They had a shot off the post. Omari Didero with that one, and was maybe a bit unlucky for that not to sneak in off the back of the goalkeeper's head. But Jets will be looking to try and get underway quickly. They need a win here to get a top 2 spot in the HPG Homes State League 1, and Blue Eagles need a win to get out of the bottom 2.
Here we are. We're back underway there with a drop ball that is going to have to be restarted again. I think the referee wasn't facing the right way, but that looks like where we're starting. And we are back underway here. Playing on from about the 26th minute of the first half. So depending on what you're seeing on the scoreboard live and maybe in the corner of the grounds here as well, we've still got about 20 minutes to play on here. We're going from that. Modbury Jets now with Callum Campbell on the far right. Liam McCabe tried to find the feet there of Sunday. Now they're clear. Shin is on this near right side. Looks like he switched across. And he's got Liam McCabe to deal with Henderson. Cinderella launches long, looking for Sunday. Gets a touchdown, but Tassotti on the same page. And now Haralampopoulos is on the right. Looking to drive as defender in Evans. Still Haralampopoulos. Defended out well, but no corner. Evans will calmly play that to his goalkeeper for a goal kick. Wilson with the ball out from the back. Toy with the touches, under pressure. That's a loose one. Pocket is just about picked by Shin, and now he can clear only to the feet of Jones. Still going, Jones looking for a delivery. Tackled on the far side, and I think he'll win the throw-in.
Yeah, he does. Good work over there by Jones to try and get down to that byline and get the cross in. I'm sure he's happy enough with that throw-in. But immediate pressure by Blue Eagles there. They've come out the blocks strongly.
Looks like this game has restarted with the same amount of energy as it started in the first opening minutes from the kickoff. And it looks like both teams are desperate to get one before the break. Here's Wilson now with the throw. Back to Paul Wilson, of course. The two Wilsons in the team. Not related to my knowledge, David, but both of them long-time players here at Modbury.
I trust your knowledge. It's very good locally, so I'm going to go with that. Throwing on the far side. Jones with it. Just in front of the home dugout.
Ball forward there, and great touch there by Darginho. I think there's an offside flag here on the near side, and he pulled back for that, but it was a good touch there by Darginho, trying to get the attack started for the Adelaide Blue Eagles. Choi, great turn in the middle of the park on Jones. It's still going, Choi. Now finds the pass and the 1-2. Do well to get on the end of that, but he puts enough pressure to force Jones into the error, and he gets a clearance into him on the ground as well, unintentionally I'm sure, by Phelps. But he's looked lively so far, has Choi.
Very quick with the ball at his feet, isn't he? Here's Campbell on the right-hand side.
Liam McCabe looking for the bounce. Loses out on the header to Phelps. Now Kachivalani. He's got Shin on the left to support. He hasn't seen him. Looking for Mullins on this near right now. Finds him, but defended well by Henderson, and puts his body in the way enough to force the foul. Quickly played forward. And again, launch long for Sunday and Smithson Thomas to deal with. Sunday opens his legs up looking for the pace. The cutback. He's just about beaten to it. Now Tassotti has a chance to strike, and with no time and with all the time and no pressure, he can't find the target, David. But another great attack there, started by the link-up of Tassotti and Fred Sunday.
It was, but good defending by Matt Jones there for Blue Eagles, just to stick a foot out to stop the cross from coming over. That was just enough. The Blue Eagles survive.
Very dangerous down this left has Fred Sunday, but he often does the unselfish thing looking for a pass, David. I think he'd find a bit more of a success rate if he maybe has a strike at goal and looks to trouble the goalkeeper. It seems like at the moment he's trying to play square passes into the middle, and it's fairly easy to deal with for Adelaide Blue Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jones did well there. I mean, I think if Jones hadn't stuck his foot out, there was a real chance that they had an opening there. So I mean, you're right, but I wouldn't have discounted the chance. I think the opportunity was there. If the ball had got past Jones, it was an open goal potentially. There's Migliaccio.
Gets the 1-2 by Haralampopoulos. Now with Jones. Shin. Darginio to Dodera on the far left. Drives inside. Outnumbered by Modbury Jets shirts, and Choi does well to evade the danger. Tassotti with space to drive into. Tassotti still going, no pressure on him. He looks for the pass as well, and again, David, too unselfish on front at the moment, Modbury.
He should have had his shot there. I mean, I don't know why, but Blue Eagles were all backing off. They were racing back. Nobody was coming to the player. They were giving him the space. He's picked it up again. His touch is a bit heavy, but they were backing off. Why not have the shot from there? You know, you could be a bit greedy as you come in towards that D and have a ping. You know, why not?
One thing you got to say about this Modbury Jets lineup as well, they're lacking a bit of experience up front of all places. I mean, their defence has still got the stalwarts in Wilson and Henderson. Midfielders anchored by Liam McCabe, but up front it's a lot of youngsters who've had fairly little experience. I mean, probably a lot of them have got about 30 to 50 games in the State League 1 or some in the NPL with Callum Campbell as well, but missing a leading marksman there, and Hamish McCabe, the top scorer for the season as well, 5 goals already in 3 league games and a cup game, so missing a bit of that, and maybe they're just not on the same wavelength at the moment.
I think they rely on their speed going forward, don't they, Jets, in that final third? You know, they're not very tall players, but they're very, very quick, and I think that's where the reliance is. I mean, look at Fred Sunday. He's probably the tallest of those forward sort of 4 or 5 players, you know, and but even he's very quick, isn't he? So I think they've got a reliance on speed, get the ball on the ground and attack at pace, and here they come again.
Great touch from Sunday. Now he's got Tassotti on the overlap. Sunday, he looks for him again, and it just seems like every pass up forward is not finding the intended target. Sunday now with 3 to deal with. Takes it past 1, 2. The third is where his journey ends, and Phelps comes away with it. McCabe. Campbell. Choi. And Akimoto now with space. He's found Callum Campbell on the overlap. Cuts it back. Choi! Timely intervention there by Cooper Mullins, David, but another great chance there in the front third for Modbury Jets. They're really coming into their own in this first half.
Yeah, no, it has been since we restarted after the floodlight failure, or the temporary floodlight failure. Jets have looked good, haven't they? They've looked the better of the two. That time of intervention there by Cooper Mullins. I mean, the Eagles are defending well, but the way things are going, Jets are looking good.
It's now Min Suk Choi who will take this set piece on the far side. Of course, a new import this season, David. Watched him a couple of times in pre-season, actually, especially against Campbelltown away there at Smith Partners Stadium, and he really piqued my interest. A very good and technical player, especially out wide as well. See what he can do from the set piece now. Choi goes far post. Jackson's there with the fist. And they'll get an opportunity from the throw-in on the opposite side.
Better from Jackson. He's had a couple of tests like that, and that's the best one he's dealt with. He just got his fist to it, did enough to push it beyond the reach of anyone else coming in, or any opponent coming in. And that's better goalkeeping from him. He just looked a bit uncertain in the early minutes of that first half. But that'll do his confidence the world of good, just to get his fist to that, push it on. He's come into this team, of course, in place of Maticevic.
Campbell does well. Evans even better, and he is fouled by Haralampopoulos. It'll be a free kick on the near side, but Evans has been a lively spark here for Modbury Jets in the first half, playing at left fullback, but he's create a lot of the attacking moves for Modbury Jets on the left side.
Sometimes you wonder when you're watching, looking out across the field, you wonder if you're just observing the players that are closest to you. They stand out more because they're in front of you. But no, Evans has been a standout across the park. He's done well. He's had a good first half. Been among Jets' best, I think.
Another set piece opportunity for Liam McCabe. Deep. Jackson comes and he claims with ease.
And again, Jackson's goalkeeping was good there as well. Came out confident, grabbed, and took the ball with aplomb. He's looking like he's a lot more comfortable than he did in that sort of first half of the first half. Here's Evans.
Some defensive duties to do. And Signorello plays it back to him and he does well out of the danger again. Evans looks up the line and comes unstuck with another foul. It looks like it wasn't given, so it'll be a throw-in for Blue Eagles and they'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, Christian Dargenio booting the ball off an opponent to win that throw. Somewhat unsympathetic. A little bit brutish, that, wasn't it?
It was a little bit. I'm not sure if he was expecting a foul or he was annoyed with his clearance, but in any case, Blue Eagles had the opportunity that looks like it's a corner for Blue Eagles, and it will be Christian Migliaccio will take. Three over the top of this one, and they look for a routine here. Jones, Dargenio, that's low. Jones is there again with a follow-up and high, wide, and out for a throw-in, David.
Matthew Jones, what are you thinking of there, pal? Just lashed at that, hasn't he, with his left? That was a defender shot, that one, wasn't it, Alessio?
You know why he's playing in that back line with shots like that, but
yeah.
He's got great delivery and he gets a few assists per season, but I don't think he finds the net on a timely occasion.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, he's had a good first half. He's certainly been pretty dominant out in that left-hand side. So I'm certainly not knocking his performance through the first half, but he's going to have to go to shooting school, I think, after that one, isn't he? Going on the far side. Jones with the ball. Who's line?
Darrow under the pressure. Jones again swings a boot at it, but it was already out. It'll be a throw-in for Blue Eagles. So another thing to note as well, David, a very quick turnaround for Modbury Jets this week, playing on Friday night away at Olympic as well. So not too many days turnaround, and potentially that's why they've had to make the decision in playing some players and leaving some for the end of the week's game. I'm not sure if that played into effect with Hamish McCabe, but with Nicholas Graves, of course, that concussion protocol meant that he's available for Friday, but not enough time elapsed for a Monday night fixture. Phelps now. Mullins, his pass is short, picked off by Evans. He's got Tassotti and Mullins stops him in his tracks, and I think he'll do well to evade a booking here. He's going to pick up one, it looks like, David, and two ex-teammates there, Adelaide Blue Eagles, both sporting the number 13 shirt tonight, and it's the darker of the blue who pick up the booking.
Yeah, definitely a foul, wasn't it? And, you know, almost certainly a booking, so I'm not sure that no one's going to have much complaint about that. Evans again showing how good he is down that left-hand side. I think if he got past his opponent there, he was into space, wasn't he? Maybe a bit disappointing that he asked for the yellow. I always think that's a bit disappointing, but I guess it's frustration as well, because he had made that run down that left. It was very impressive, and it was certainly a chance for him.
Henderson on the left, going for a drive forward, dummied by Evans, and now Sunday has time. to pick out an option or a pass. Campbell back to Evans, who looked to deliver. Top of the box to Akimoto. Big challenge there again. Falls his way to Campbell. Was he fouled? No, says Betterman. And now Phelps will come away with it, and he does well until the final pass. Good challenge there by Evans. I think he's got one in the chest after that, David. Unintentional, but he's in a lot of pain here. Modbury has still come away with the attack. Tassotti with time to shoot. Tassotti doesn't trouble the goalkeeper. And now I think he'll be pulled back here, David, for... So it looked like he's holding his elbow, maybe?
Yeah, holding his left elbow, and I don't think there was anything intentional. It was just a coming together. Certainly very physical, but Evans down on the ground there, and the assailant has moved away, hasn't he? Quietly.
It looked like it was a tackle he won against Phelps. Had a bit of a tanglement on the ground, and maybe a boot has just landed somewhere unintentionally, and he's dealing with that injury now.
Interestingly enough, they haven't summoned the doctor. The physician hasn't been called yet. Maybe they won't be needed.
Bit of afters between the two captains of the day here, Kachavalani and Henderson.
Well, that's been going on off the ball. I mentioned it before, and in fact, the referee Jaden Bertman's bringing them together now, and there had been a chat between the two of them before, and it's been a little bit off the ball between the two. They're both smiling now, but they weren't a moment ago.
I think the banter and a bit of back and forth chat will be happening throughout the night, and I'm sure you'll see something happen before the 90th minute, which will make one of them happier than the other. Touchdown there by Choi. Wilson clears that well into the park behind.
Into the embankment. Yes, if you've just joined us, you're watching the HPG Homes State League 1 South Australia. There's nothing each, and if you're wondering why we're still playing and we're not enjoying half-time break, it's because we had a little floodlight failure about 20-25 minutes in, so not long now till half-time, but that's why we're still playing this first half here at Marden.
It's a good ball forward to Sunday, who looked like he was going to get to the end of it, but he started his run a bit too early there. He's now pulled back for offside, but as you said, we are awaiting our first goal in this encounter, and I'm not sure what the time shows on the scoreboard on YouTube, but we are playing 15 minutes longer than expected due to that 15-minute break due to the power failure of the lights. I'm sure we are not very far away now from that halftime whistle finally. We see some alarms going off now. I think that's a few timing that first half, so I think there must be an added time now of the first period. Yeah, looks like we've played 15 minutes just over of the added time, so we're now at the normal 45 and at the referee's discretion of how long we keep playing. McCabe forward to Campbell. He's got options left and right. He picks out Tassotti. Cuts inside. Christian Tassotti with a strike, and it doesn't trouble the goalkeeper again, David, but there's a great opening there from Modbury Jets.
Didn't trouble him, but at least he had a shot. I mean, Tassotti's had a couple of opportunities like that, as have his teammates up front, and they've been unwilling to have a shot, so at least he got one off there. And that's the way you're going to score, isn't it? These passes through just haven't been working in that very last, that final third, if you like. So trying to get shooting, and I think he was quite right to have a goal, even if the outcome wasn't what he was hoping for.
Comes away with it now. Good ball forward there by Choi. Sunday's there. He's got players in the middle. Sunday, he cuts it back. Callum Campbell! Sorry, not Callum Campbell. It's Akimoto with the opener here, David. Right on the cusp of half-time. And it's a great break forward there from Modbury Jets. And they've got the first goal in this game.
They have, and they finally breached that Blue Eagles defence. I mean, I think since the game restarted, Jets have been the better of the two, haven't they? I mean, almost immediately, Eagles come out the blocks at 100 miles an hour, but Jets have built well and built solidly, and they've got that pace up front, haven't they?
And Akimoto, the man who's come in for Hamish McCabe, who's found the back of the net, David, and you've got to be happy with that as a coach. The man you brought in finds the way to open the account early.
Maybe Hamish McCabe won't get a run next week. He's sitting just in front of us, and he must be thinking to himself, oh, I might not get back on after this. But no, look, a great outcome. I think the game's probably needed a goal, and the pace, as we mentioned before, the pace of that front three has just been a torment for Blue Eagles, and the breakthroughs finally come, and I think the game probably needed a goal, and we have it.
So Teiju Akimoto scores the first goal in this encounter, and of course there should be plenty more to come if the attacking threats have been what we expect. Here's Jackson. Met by Wilson's head. And Evans just clear. And take a bit of time left of this first half out of the clock. Look at the watch there by Betterman in the middle of the park. Second time, and I think the whistle's in the mouth. And that is the half-time break, David. So it took us 15 minutes longer than we expected to get here, but due to that, we got a goal. And it's 1-0 here to the away side in Modbury Jets Soccer Club at Martin Sports Complex in this HPG Home State League 1 clash. So we'll join you here in the second half for some more action, and we'll see how this game pans out. See you then.
어디에요? 요거예요? 자, 아저씨가 나 아는데? 아저씨가 진짜 이런데요. 뭐 달라. 주문할 때.
아, 그 정도만?
그런 거 맛있어요.
답답하지 않아요? 답답하지 않아요? 좀 많이.
답답한데 간념했어. 진짜 간념했어 이게. 아, 화산사 못 가요. 조심해야 돼요. 이렇게 안 되면 안 돼요.
왜요?
괜찮아요. 바로 이렇게 날려야 돼. 아, 화장실. 인터뷰하고 영어 잘하지 않아요? 아, 화장실 톡하고 하고 와요.
무단지 할아버지 또 너무 화가 나셨는데 지금 있다고 너무 화가
You're going to give all this away for 45 cents. Until about the Muslim store. And I told someone today, Turks, very Turks. He wanted so much. Oh, was you there with him? What he did was he looked after a lot of got a lot of country and then we put all their money together.
So sorry.
정말 라이트 나와도 나고 정말 라이트 한번 꺼내는데 맞아
We knew in Inter or whatever the other one hit the one that you said the golden slipper one that yeah I got him for the place as well but I got if you bet I was like $50 if it comes second you'll get paid out yeah I hit one of them
지금 모여서 애들끼리 얘기하고 지금 우리 팀 뭐가 문제인지 맨날 얘기하면서
That's coming in. This is ridiculous. Thank you. What's happened against the Cove?
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Right, thank you.
토마스가 떠는 건가? 네, 재밌지 않겠라고 잠깐. 수익이 아니야. 유리 동갑이. 아, 이사야. 유리 동갑. 한여름에 레깅스 입거든요. 아유, 그때 봤잖아. 그때 항상 레깅스 입고 항상 여기가 천산이면 인지로 진짜 또 아틀레티코 디렉터? 스피리트 디렉터? 걔랑 그 사람이랑 선수들 몇 명 요거 라이트가 생각보다 나고 끝나고 밥 먹으려 했는데 원래 좀 늦을 어쨌든 9시 넘어서 집에 도착하잖아. 그래서 여기 어차피 와도 한 15분, 20분 정도까지 있고 집에 다니다가 바로 집에 날아갔어요. 갑자기 중간에 라이트 꺼져가지고 바로 올라왔어요. 뽑은 거 아니야? 다음 갔다 언제 올게? 언제 올게? 그러면 그때 맛있는 것좀 사들고 근데 여기 다 팔아가지고 비행기를 정말 탔는데 어째 아주머니가 앉아서 막 이렇게 보고 있는데 이러고 오는 거예요. 괜찮아. 옆에서는 안 보이죠? 살짝 어둡긴 한데 괜찮아요. 아니 저 이거 맨날 켜놔가지고 눈이 좀 편안한 편이죠. 뭔가 지금 봐봐요. 이잖아요. 이게 이렇게 하고 따뜻하게 눈에 부담이 좀 덜 가는 원래 그거 쓰면 블루라이트 아니고 그거 쓰면은 근데 뭔가 효과가 있거든요. 근데 뭔가 그거를 쓰고 잠을 잘 잔다기보다는 눈이 편하네. 밤에 그러니까 불빛 같은 거 보면 제가 야맹증이니까 그리고 난이 좀 살짝 있어요. 지금 많이 해놨어요. 그래서 막 뿌옇게 이게 나오더라고요. 까만 데서. 근데 그거 쓰면 뭔가 눈이 안 아파요.
You're watching the HPG Homes State League 1 game between Adelaide Blue Eagles and Modbury Jets, except you're not watching it because the broadcast is unfortunately currently unavailable due to a floodlight failure here at Marden Sports Complex. We've been advised that the game is unlikely. We've been advised that the game is unlikely to proceed, and at this stage, well, the game's about to be called off. My lead commentator, my liege, Alessio, you've returned. What
Yes.
news have you?
I was just talking. I've seen a couple of players just come past now, talk with their team manager, and they've said that's it. It's called. I don't think they're coming back out of the change rooms. Looks like the team managers trying to organise to announce it on the PA here as well, but they're obviously dealing with a lot of issues power-wise. Must be safety switch reasons, something like that. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite immensely disappointed. I was quite enjoying the game. It was 1-0 at the time of the floodlight failure, and it's definitely not going ahead. We've been advised by the officials as well via a third party that it's not going to proceed. So I guess it's good night from me. And is it good night from you?
It is, yes. Thanks for everyone joining us here. Of course, everyone was excited to see another Monday night here at Marden, and it gave us the drama, David, but unfortunately it didn't give us a full-time game. So,
and in fact, the result won't stand.
No, of course, it's not past the 75th minute, 3/4 of the game, so it will have to be rescheduled, and I'm not sure if it's going to be here, but it will have to be further in the season, maybe in the cup round if they're not in it.
Let's hope they don't reschedule it for a night match here, because that's the third time in 2 weeks that they've had this issue. So let's hope it's just an afternoon game, and the natural light emitted by photons is used instead of the artificial light that has failed us on several occasions.
All right, that's it from us here at Marden Sports Complex. Full-time result is an abandoned game, and we'll catch you in another one. Catch you next week around the leagues and the FSA YouTube channel. Thank you. Good night. Yes.
Good night, Alessio.
Good night, David.
네, 문제 있는 것 같아요. 스테이지 2 강등. 진짜 이런 거 예상도.
언제 다 들어왔대요?